This episode is sponsored by Old National Bank. Old National is committed to supporting minority-owned small businesses by helping to expand their access to capital through their Empowerment Small Business Loan Program.
Well, everybody, welcome to another episode of Black Businesses Matter. Well, guys, for those of you all that listen to us on audio, you're getting me, of course, hearing me on audio. But we are going to publish this episode as a video episode, and I'm excited because this is our 50th episode. And our next guest, it's appropriate for her to be here on our 50th episode. I can hear in the background people clapping, people screaming. I could just hear it. So I'm getting all that vibe right about now that we are at 50. I don't know about y'all, but it's 52 weeks in a year. So literally we've done this almost, a full year minus 2 weeks so that we can kind of get it together. So that right there is like, oh, woo. So I just want to say, guys, thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for tuning in, following us, subscribing to us. This podcast is just growing so fast, much faster than I ever thought it would be. And so our next guest, let me tell you about this beautiful sister, because when I first I was like, she has 2 kids and they are over 10. I just want y'all to know that. And she looks like she's like 20, just so you all know. Okay. I need you all to understand this. But I want to tell you about the founder and CEO of TargetWhileBlack and RetailWhileBlack. So, we had to get her because this dynamic content creator, leader, thought leader is really doing some cool things in retail. Her overall goal is to raise awareness and increase exposure to Black brands in retail stores. So, as a result, Target While Black expanded to 2 pages, all right? Target While Black and Retail While Black, showing everyone how to buy Black in all retail spaces, such as the mall, such as grocery stores, and other box brands. She has promoted my favorite honey pots, Scotch Porter, Be Rooted, and many more Black brands found in retailers like Ulta, Macy's, Nordstrom, Publix, Whole Foods, and Target. So, guys, give her some love to being our first guest on our 50th episode. Hello, Marissa.
Hello. I feel like I need like finger fireworks. Woo!
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna create our own sound back here. That's what we're doing. So tell me, Marissa, I have to ask you this because I asked my guests all this. Who is Marissa as a little girl to be able to do all this? Like, were you a retail junkie? Like, tell us who you were as a little girl.
Ooh, that's such a good question. And I think it's a good question because absolutely not. Everybody who probably knows me from before is shocked at who Marissa is now. I was definitely a blurred. I read Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. I was hoodie kid. I did not do the whole social interaction thing.
Wow. Wow. I love the evolution. Like, this isn't the reason why I bring it up is because we don't have to be what we was. We can launch into something and evolve into something. So I love that you were like, no, I was not that. But I love that you were a nerd because that tells us we are connected because I love to read novels. So that was my thing was I just love to read. I still do, full disclosure. So for that. And so tell me from that journey, where this curiosity to be this social content creator that is like dope, guys. Because I'm going to share with you all her Instagram handles because you're going to want to follow her for all your shopping. For those of us that love Target, you're going to want to follow her. So I want to know from that point of reading Harry Potter's to now being this household name in the retail space.
So it was a complete accident. Honestly, I didn't mean to get here. I kind of it's funny because I'm introverted, but I get to not be that way on the computer or when I'm on my pages.
Okay.
because I'm kind of talking to myself most of the time, right? Or when I do get on a podcast, I'm talking to one other person. I can do this. I can do this communication, but like groups of people,
Okay.
I don't like doing that. I can hype myself up to it, but I'm very, very introverted. So when I started doing this, I was like in the pandemic and I was at Target and I saw Santa on the shelves and it was Black Santa. And a little bit of cultural background about my family. My mom is Spaniard and Black. So my grandmother is a Spaniard lady. She was like 4 feet tall, white lady. And she was the person who took care of me a lot of times until I was 12. So
okay.
She would color our Santas, which is a lot of kids' stories. They grew up getting their Santas colored. For me, I think it's a little bit unique when I tell people that. They're like, your white grandmother colored Santas for you? Yeah, she wanted me to see Santas that look like me, so she made them brown. And she also made me my first Black doll. So when I saw Santa on the shelves, I was really excited. I was like, oh, wait, there's a Black Santa I don't have to color? What? So I decided to share that. And I wasn't expecting so many people to be as excited about it as I was. But there was Black Santa, there was Black Mrs. Claus, there was wrapping paper, there was all these things. So it really got people hyped into representation that they were seeing in retail, right? And from there, I started telling a story for Black History Month because that was the first year that Target really did a Black History Month collection. None of that, like, we're going to put, Black Pride on a shirt and we're going to make it like traditional Black Pride colors, but we're not going to like include any Black creators. No, this year they were making Black people the focus of the Black History Month collection. They were including Black products. They were using Black designers. So I was like, well, let's talk about the designers. Let's talk about the people that are behind those collections. And taking that and just applying it to the rest of the year, all the Black products that were coming in and so on and so forth. I randomly posted one day that there was a co-owned Black toilet paper and I had 15,000 people.
When I tell you, so let me say this, Marissa, the reason why I love you and the platform that you are is because what you're doing is helping people that I believe want to, but just don't have the time to identify what brands are Black, and then challenging our retail giants to say, hey guys, we are important, we are significant, prioritize us. Because the way I think about this, Marissa, I'll give you an example, right? When you go into department stores like Nordstrom, like Ulta, right? And these are places I love. What I don't like is no one of color suggesting to me what I should use on my skin, right? Or what I should use on for some people on your children's skin. So the idea of you highlighting that while you're walking through the aisles, I think is necessary. It shouldn't be done just Black history. And to your point about what Target did, I think because of the things that we experienced during the pandemic really forced folks to really be that. But I'll tell you something, Marissa, I've been in this business of marketing for 20 years. And in 2023, we're still not intentional. We're still not right? We're still not intentional about making sure having space for Black brands to be occupied as real estate to be able to offer to your customers. It really is inclusion. It's not about race. It's I have different skin than perhaps someone else in the checkout. Why am I not considered as a retail associate to help me? And I feel like you're being the online lack of it, associate that when you're shopping, you could be like, well, let me ask Marissa on Retail While Being Black because I don't know. Do you feel like that's you're solving that problem for the retailers?
Yes, I am. I feel like I'm telling the story that they're not telling.
Yeah.
They're putting the brands there and they're like, okay, go be successful now. But they're not really telling the story. And solving the box stores problem, we'll put it that way, because I have a lot of thoughts about box stores and black owned brands, but
Okay.
also solving the consumer problem too, as like, I don't know what to use, or I don't know what to go get, or if I go get this, is it going to the right place, and is it going to work for me? And now the caveat here is that not everything's going to work for everybody, right? But at least you get to go try to get something that was intentionally made with you in mind from the store. Everyone doesn't have the wherewithal to be like, oh, I'm just going to order a product. That's what some people always come to me with that, like, oh, I'm just going to go order it. Okay, but I'm out of lotion today. Like, what? You know, I need it today. I need to be able to conveniently go get it. So what's going to work for me? What was made for me?
So, Marissa, based on, you, because we all know that the big box, many of them didn't survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so many of them not surviving impacted, those individual brands because of the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How today do you see what you're doing helping to amplify these Black brands in the now retailers that are still standing? Like, how is that? Is that something where it's helping? Obviously, we know it's helping the Black brands, but how from
Mhm.
the retailers are they seeing value in that?
Yeah, so there's a big push now for retailers to have diverse businesses on their shelf, and black owned business specifically. And that is from kind of the shift in the culture that we're having right now. We're moving from one generation to another, and the next generation, specifically Gen Z, wants to know where their dollars are going. They want to know the people who are behind those brands. So as the consumers start to look for what's making an impact and what's driving change, the retailers have to mimic what the consumer wants, or they're going to lose their customer.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm advertising the Black brands, and I can go down a whole rabbit hole about this all day, but
Okay.
they need the Black brands on the shelf, but they need the Black brands to be successful on the Black shelves,
That's right.
right? And
That's right.
because they need them to be successful, the retailer has to put things in place to make sure that brand is successful. And a couple things have to happen that are different than traditionally putting a brand in your space when you're a Black owned brand. Many of the Black owned brands are small businesses. They are not going to be able to reach these markers that, well, I'll even use another Black owned brand to put it up against, but like
Okay.
Fenty, for example.
Yep.
That's Rihanna. She has millions of dollars, and she's
Correct.
Rihanna,
Correct.
you
She's
know?
Rihanna.
She's Rihanna. But a small business, you can't put them in there and be like, okay, well, this makeup brand Fenty hit these markers every week or every month, so now you have to hit it too. No, and that's not relationship building,
Yeah.
and that's not going to keep the brand there successfully. So what's happening is the retailers are kind of tussling with themselves because they have to build a good relationship with Black owned brands. They have to put the marketing dollars behind them. They have to be more lenient on things. There's certain policies that I feel like a lot of retailers should put in place to make sure that some of the money that they are asking for purchase orders should be fronted up to the brands
That's good. Yeah.
so that they could continuously successfully scale.
Correct.
But that's a lot of pieces. And I'm talking to you guys right now, like I'm a whole retail expert, and it's so weird to me. And I am now, but that's because I went on a deep dive rabbit hole of research, pulling articles, talking to brands, asking them, well, what is this brand doing? And why do you like this brand over that one? And them telling me, well, because some of them give us marketing dollars and they make sure that we have a good relationship and they work with us. And some of the bigger brands, they just want us there because they want to fill their quota,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And Marissa, I'm so glad that you're sharing with our audience that the work that you've done, because I think there is value in the level of research that you've done, that quite frankly people aren't doing, right? So you have someone like you that's saying, hey, I've done the work for you. And the part that I love that you say is that we take Fenty, we take these brands and we put them next to, you know, a Lisa brand, right? A brand new brand, and say, okay, you got to hit these benchmarks. And I think
Mhm.
that goes back to equity, right? It really goes
Mhm.
back to making sure that there is equity and inclusion, right? Because
Mhm.
we all start at different points. I can start at one point, you can start, but we can start at different places. But setting that tone to say, well, because you start here, the expectation is you should be here, right? But
Right.
who is that based on? That's really against white America. It's not based on anything else. Let's call it what it is, right?
Mhm.
It's based on that. And so when you take that, that's not fair because, you know, the reason why I'm here and excited to talk to you is merely because what's happening is that we haven't really discussed the things that impacts why that black business doesn't get to that shelf too, right? It's staffing,
Mhm.
it's operations, it's branding. So it's all of that that could impact, hinder um that brand from growing, right? And so
Mhm.
it's also location, it's all of these things. And so we have to realize that it's more than just placing that product on the shelves and say, okay, it's there. But
That's
and I
the
think
beginning.
the part that I'm seeing, and this is why I built this, is it should be a collaboration opportunity. It's
Mhm.
not a you're here, okay, go be great. It's a collaborative opportunity, right? That's what it is. That's what it boils down to, is how can we collaborate. So as I think through brands, we've had a few beauty brands that have been on the show.
Mhm.
How do you see, or what advice would you give to that mom and pop black brand on, retail versus I've got a solid online brand, right?
Mhm.
Is it or is it and?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's a really good question. And I think it should be but it should be as you're able to scale. Because when you're going into retail, you have to think that a lot of that money is going to be upfront money.
Yeah.
And again, black owned businesses are usually self-funded. Like we're not rolling in money. And even when we do apply for loans, I think it's something like 43% get their loan.
Which, I
Something
mean,
really
it's ridiculous. But let me say this. Do you know, and I'm saying this because I did a research in Chicago maybe about 9 years ago, maybe about 8 years ago, Marissa, and we're gonna go back to what you said. Um,
Mhm.
Black women, the reason why we weren't getting funded in ways is because of the questions that were being asked.
Mm.
It was questions like, can you give us the revenue of your business? Well, we
Mhm.
have a story. Well, it's not what it was because of da 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 da. And they just want to know. And so that greatly impacts us getting additional funding because we are typically building our business with little or no money, startup costs.
Mhm.
So that keeps us in that level of bondage. So we were asking them, it was so frightening to be able to articulate that money because
Yeah.
what happens is you're going to rate me, Marissa, based on my money, right?
Right.
Not rate me based on what I can do. And I think that's something that, as black folks, that is a journey for us. You want me to share with that. So I just want to say that, and that's a struggle. So we typically don't go to the targets because we know you're going to ask that question and we don't have an answer, right? So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
want to go
So
back to that question around that. So please forgive me on that one.
yeah, no, you're absolutely fine. It definitely, I think it should be because I think that this is the piece of the generational wealth that we can tap into and make it phenomenal now, right? But you have to be going into it with knowing that you're going to be able to scale and front that money. And when you go to the retailer, don't have them telling you what they want you to do. No, tell them what you want them to do. I want to get into I'll use Target because that's the one I know. I want to get into Target, but I want to be in 40 stores to start out with. I want to be in 20 stores to start out with. You do not have to go on all 1,900 Targets. I don't recommend that you go on all 1,900 Targets because that's a huge, massive scale that takes too much money. And be willing to ask for a lot of help. There are other Black-owned businesses that have made the retail jump. There are a lot of there's lots of programs and literature that you kind of have to dig for, but it tells you what you should be expecting when you go into the retail space. Talk to people about having a lawyer because you want to get into retail space, but you don't want to be on the bottom shelf, right? You want to be on eye level. There's so many things about going into the retailer that can be beneficial, but if it fails, it can be expensive. So just making sure that when you are moving from a successful online business into the retail space, that you have a support team in place, that you're utilizing some of those accelerator programs that these stores are having so that you can make sure you're having the right conversations so you don't get yourself scaling too quickly. Okay. But do I think that once you get there and you're successful that it's a lot of money and it's worth it? Yes, because then they're putting in a purchase order with you and then $20,000 cash in your pocket off a purchase order versus, you having orders rolling in maybe one at a time, maybe 5 at a time through an online platform. Not to say that can't be successful, but why, if I can make money here and make money here, why not? You already have a great product. You do. Just do it well.
Yeah. So I want to just recap to our listeners what Marissa is saying is that it's not an or, it's an and. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we feel like, well, if you get here, that means it stops. Continue. So would you agree to continue your efforts on your online business the way that you're doing? Continue with your pop-ups, continue with all of that. But sometimes we think, well, you competing, but you're not, right? Because it's convenience, right? We're standing in that line, right? Target is convenient.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And it's eyes. It's eyes. I might not buy your brand that day, but I might later be like, oh, you know what? I saw her. Let me go online and go to her store and see what else she has on her store. I mean, a great example is the lip bar expanded, right? But they also had a birthday sale and they had buy one, get one 30% off or something on there. I took my butt to the birthday sale online, right? Me too. But if I have a date night and I want to be cute and I want to go like, oh, let me get a new lipstick. I'm at Target. I'm going to buy lip bar. So you're not competing with yourself. Honestly, you're just playing the game well. Now you're double dipping the money.
I like the double dip. Yeah, that's what you're double dipping the money. And I think that's a learning opportunity that we need to take. It's okay to double dip, right? We were told that don't be double. No, it's okay, right? And understanding that, do you find that just with the work that you do, and I want to just take a pause, guys, because I want to make sure you all know who Marissa is and how to find her. She is on TikTok at RetailWhileBlack. She's on Instagram at TargetWhileBlack. And she is on Instagram with RetailWhileBlack. But she's also on YouTube. Are you on YouTube as RetailWhileBlack too?
Yeah, RetailWhileBlack on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
And so on YouTube, are you just literally giving tutorials? Like what's on YouTube? Because I always think YouTube is my tutorial platform. It's my favorite. Just full disclosure, it's my favorite. Because I'm always trying to figure out how to do this, how to fix this. Can I do this? So is that what you do on YouTube? Because
YouTube is a completely new avenue for me. I have been right now. They were like, whatever you had on your other platforms, you put on YouTube. So I've been doing that because YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
But I also have been taking people on adventures. Like I went to Disney and I found Black-owned brands at Disney World. I like on my full day of like what it looks like when I go to the store. But also my plan is I have a whole list of ideas for YouTube. My plan is to talk to brands about what they should be doing when they're getting retail ready on there. And my plan is also to talk to consumers about the best way to support Black-owned brands that are inside retail stores.
Can you tell us what are some of those? Give me just 3 tips. What are some 3 tips that that customers can support? Because I think that is a fantastic platform to help. Because people always ask, how can we support? But I would love to hear maybe 3 points that you could provide us with.
Yes. So what I always say is be patient. That's the first one, is be patient, because people go in stores and again, they're expecting the Black brand to be in every store. They can't do it. They have to scale to be in every single Target. So use the apps, use the websites. All the stores have apps and websites. See if they have it first before you get in your car, before you get down there and you want to tussle everybody. And then once you get the product, share it. I don't care if you only share it to your family. If you only have 10 people who watch your stories, share it.
That's good.
Share that brand. Oh, this is a new lipstick. This is a new hair care. Also buying products for holidays and Christmas that are Black owned. That's so easy. And if people love it, they're gonna go buy it again. They're gonna come back to you. Where did you get this? I love this. I love this so much. A really cool one that a lot of my girls say on the page is they buy their friends lipsticks. Put it a stocking stuffer, lipsticks, candles,
Yeah, candles.
perfume.
Yes, yes, yes. And I will say this: I'm so glad you gave these tips because it's getting us. I love that you start off with being patient, because I do think in this space of microwave, we can warm it up. It's ready in 2 minutes. We want it right now. And I will tell you my story about Fenty. And I would go to Sephora and they would be out. And I'm like, kind of this. But let me tell you something, because I didn't wait till the last minute. So I want to bring that up. When you love a Black brand, don't have to wait till it's all the way gone, because we know that it might be a shelf issue. Maybe when it's almost on its way, you can start looking for it and purchase it. It's okay if you are ahead of the game. And I think that was so for me, and being patient, I was like, well, I'm not all the way out. I'm just a little bit out. And so being patient, and it literally, I think it was during the holidays, they didn't have any more. And I finally got it maybe about 3 weeks ago. But I'm saying all that to say that that word of being patient with Black brands, instead of, because sometimes what we do is every time I go there, they're sold out. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. But we kind of make that negative, right?
So the thing for me is, I'm trying to say this like the nicest way possible. But the thing for me is that other brands hide their mistakes with money. They hide their mistakes with money. We do not have the luxury of hiding mistakes with money. We don't have it. we can't you go to a restaurant and their machine is, I'll use this example because it's happened to me. I went to a Black owned restaurant in Tampa.
Okay.
And all their machines went down. All of them. And they were asking everybody to cash app them. And the people that I was with were like, we're doing what? We're doing what? We're cash apping? I don't want to cash app them. Like, they should just comp the mill. And I'm thinking to myself in my head, right? Because I'm working with all these Black owned businesses. Like, no, we're gonna stand here and we're gonna cash app them because they can't afford to comp a whole day worth of mills, y'all.
Yes.
Like, are we supporting or are we not supporting?
Yes.
So it's just I think the grace and the patience is thin on some people. And if you're going to support and you're going to say you're going to support, then you have to be thinking about it in all aspects of being a business and being a customer and showing them grace.
That's good, Marissa, that you share that, because I do believe for me, I can say this on this side because I'm intentional with Black brands. So I have a Black company, right? So we have to give ourselves grace. But I think what you're just saying, being patient, like, be patient. And I agree with you. They shouldn't have to comp because a mistake that happened that was not controllable, right? They couldn't control if it goes down, but having the ability to do that. And but isn't it so then on the flip side, here's what I'm saying, Marissa. On the flip side, thank God that they are able to do Cash App, because they could not have that to be able to offer that. So that's a blessing, right? That they had at least that other tool. And that's where I tell people is like, we just have to have an omni approach in how we do business. It shouldn't just be one way. And you've definitely said that. It's no longer this or, it's and. And so continuing to do that with that. And, just to let our listeners know, it was special for us to do this episode with Marissa, because she and I both, we want you to be intentional with making these purchases all year long, right? We talked about holidays. By the time this episode comes, we'll be going into the summertime, right? Stock up. Maybe this is a good time to stock up, get some of those items that you want for holidays and stock up, right? Could be.
I also want to mention too that if that brand is sold out on the shelves, if they're a small brand and they're sold out on the shelves, think about what the retailer is thinking. The retailer is like, well, they're sold out and they can't put any more items on their shelf. So why are you here if you can't keep items on my shelf? Right?
Wow.
And it's just, there's so many, it's so multifaceted to be thinking about how to support. And it's almost to the point where I have a lot of people say a lot of things to me. I have some people who are like, I'm not going to a retailer and shopping black. That's not shopping black. That's giving the retailer money. And then I have to, go down this rabbit hole of explaining to them, those are small Black owned brands on the shelf. They are getting purchase orders. That is a way to shop Black.
That's right.
Are you going to also go to their website? I hope so. Yeah, you're probably going to also go to their website, but that's a way to do it. Yeah. And then I have people telling me, I don't shop Black because it's too much of a hassle. Like I don't want to hassle with shopping Black. Like things are sold out. Like everybody's unprofessional. Like I don't want to do that. And I'm like, all of them?
Right. All of them?
Wow. That's not possible. You had a bad experience with one of the brands. You're not going to like everything and everybody. We always know that. Find something that you do like. Switch out one thing. Switch out your lipstick, your toothpaste, your toothbrush. It doesn't have to be you got to change your whole life. All of us love going to Target. I made a whole platform because women like to go to Target.
That's right.
You don't have to stop going to Target. Go to Target and also swap out your ice cream for Creamalicious.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah. But it's just, there's so many pieces. And it all comes down to being patient and being kind.
Like when you said that, I'm like, that's it. Because when I thought about that moment it was like, be patient with it and not, but I am intentional with buying. Like it's intentional, it's thoughtfulness, it's being kind. Like, oh my gosh, where did you get that from? I want to order it again. Right. So I agree. So, as we close out, because these episodes always go so fast, tell me this, Marissa, why do Black businesses matter?
So Black businesses, and I'm going to take you guys down a little thought journey with me. I was watching the Green Book documentary on the Smithsonian Channel. And they walked us through all the places that Black businesses were. And how it was safety for them, and it was the crux of a bunch of civil rights meetings, and it was community. And still to this day, Black-owned businesses are community. They are community builders. They are places where we are safe. They are places where we can see ourselves, and that is the future of building generational wealth for the Black community. So it's still community. We're still doing it. It's still the Green Book, but we're just doing it the 2023 way. So be patient, have kind, and take your community with you.
Marissa, and I promise you, every time I ask that question, I get chills. Like literally, I get chills because
It's a
every
good
day,
question.
yeah, I know. It's so important to ask that question. And when you just broke it, it was like, oh my gosh, like it is you just sometimes we need to be reminded of that and being seen, and making sure like, platforms like what you have online on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, all these platforms matter, right? Because you're building community. And when you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. And when we're disconnected from that, then that's when, to me, we're what? You're not valued. We're not being heard. We're not being seen. So thank you for
Exactly.
that. So what's next with Retail While Black, While Being Black? What's next?
There's so many things I have so many things that I want to do. But I think the first one that I want to do that I'm kind of pushing for is I want these retailers to pay ya, girl. I want them to pay me
Okay.
to advertise for them.
And they are.
You know,
So we're putting it out there today. So let's just do
yeah,
that right now, Marissa. All these, so that's Nordstrom, right? We're gonna put it out there.
yeah,
Ulta.
yeah,
What else we got? Sephora, right? All of them.
or yeah,
They should
all of
be
them.
paying you. I agree because you literally, to me, it's just this online, you're the online associate. That's the way I see you.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like I would be a beneficial person to have as a consult in some of these areas where they're speaking to Black-owned businesses and what they're doing, what they're saying they're doing, because some of these pledges that these businesses have made are very empty, very empty.
Yeah.
And even if they don't feel like they're empty, the whatever you're doing is not being told correctly because we're not seeing it. As a matter of fact, people are now looking around. They're like, okay, well, you're laying off your diversity and inclusion people. You
I
don't
didn't
have
want to go there. I didn't want to
Mhm.
go there, Marissa. We got a few minutes, but I'm scared because the whole DNI, I'm like, we were all DNI with, during the pandemic and everything. And now I feel like it's going like this.
Mhm.
It was like, woo! And then it's like
Yep.
this.
They're letting them go. Well, they had Black History Month collections last year, didn't have one this year. Why? Because we told them we don't want your Black History Month collection. You don't have Black owned businesses on your shelves all year. You're not using Black artists all year. You're not using Black designers all year, but now you have a Black History Month collection? Of course it didn't do well.
Yeah.
And then they're going to use that failed experiment of Black History Month collection to not support Black owned businesses in the future. And I can't allow that.
Well, here's what we're not going to do, Marissa. We're going to support you with brands that we know and we talk to and just work we do. And we're going to mention your name. The reason why this podcast was brought was so that we can be a bridge for collaboration. And so this is an opportunity for us when we're at the table with these big brands to be able to say, you know what, here's, how can we support? Okay, here's how you could support. You can take some of these dollars, put it into Marissa's platform on Retail While Being Black, right? Retail While Black, be able to build on this and allow for her to be able to be the advocate and liaison to your Black businesses and brands. It's clear for me, Marissa. It's very clear. So we're going to put that out there as our listeners, those that are in these roles, in these retail spaces, and you're looking for a partner, because what Marissa's doing is being a partner, because what she said is she wants the business to win and the retailer to win. So it's a collaborative effort for that. And so I'm so glad um, that you have created this platform, because I absolutely think it is fantastic. We're sharing it. We're going to continue to share. So when people come to us where to shop, this is what we're telling them. So stop coming to us because we don't have all the information. That's the other thing. It's not an all. It's called it's inclusion, right? Include everybody in it, right? Inclusion, everybody, right? So as
Yes.
we wrap up, I just want to do this. I want you to tell everybody how they connect with you online. So if you can share your handles again.
Yes. So I am RetailWhileBlack and TargetWhileBlack on Instagram, and I am RetailWhileBlack on TikTok and YouTube. You can find me in all these places. You can also email me. I have hello@targetwhileblack.com. I answer my emails, or my assistant answer your emails, just in case you guys ever have any questions. And I also have a website. So you guys can go to targetwhileblack.com, and it has a full brand list for Target. I'm working on getting more brand lists for other stores there. But there's other information there. You can shop from there too. While
Oh,
the
you can
Black-owned
shop
brands
from
from
the
the
website. Oh, awesome, Marie. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about. That is awesome. I'm so glad that you've created both a website for online, because we've had some other guests and they were like, people come because there's a world that people just don't get on social media and they go right to the website. And so I think that that's also important, especially when we think about the people that's just like, I'm not interested in social media. And you'd be
Yeah,
surprised. It could be someone that's actually 12 too. It could be people that's 25 that's like, I don't do this. I go straight to the website. So we
yeah,
have to not lump everybody in the same bucket.
yeah.
As we
Would you believe me if I told you that I didn't have social media for 2 years?
I can believe it, because I'm learning that people will say, girl, I just don't have time for it. Like, I've
Yeah,
realized the people that say that, that means that they got a lot going on in their lives. Because for me, Marissa, I'm even on not even online as much as I used to, because I'm just got so much going on that I don't have the space, like the mental. I'm like, okay, who's got to get picked up? What do I need to do? Okay, did I follow up with them? And so by the time I'm done, guess what I want to do? Just do some guilt.
yeah, that's it.
Nothing. So it does. I believe that you took 2 years. And for the people, I just want you all to know, can you please tell the people how old your kids are?
Yes, my kids are 14 and 12.
Yeah, I know. Y'all all are in the background, like that can't be possible because that's how it was. I know you guys are in the background. Okay, all right. I'm just gonna say that because you all know black don't crack. But literally, when she said it, I was in my seat, like, no. I almost want to ask her for her ID, but we don't, you don't ask for that for black women. As we close, Marissa, we do ask this question because we think it is important for the world to know that we have black joy. What
Mm.
brings you joy?
Mm. My family is the best joy. They're so fun. My kids crack me up. I swear they do and say the darndest things. And it's so funny. And I like spending time with them. They're my safe space.
Mm-hmm.
When when everybody online can be hard. People
It
are
can
mean.
be. It can
People
be.
are mean. But in this in this house, we're gonna turn up on a Tuesday. We're gonna make chocolate covered strawberries just randomly. We're gonna make chocolate milk with ice glitter rims. Like we do it. We do it all here. Like, oh, we're having a bad day. Okay, well, let's make some food or
Yeah.
have
That's
a movie
beautiful.
night or something.
Yes. I love how you displayed that in the fact that it's your safe space from your family, because I think that is that's beautiful. So, guys, thank you all for listening with us and rocking with us in this 50th episode, where we have this amazing content creator who is just changing the world as the founder of Target While Black and Retail While Black. Guys, check her out. If you're looking to, purchase items, go to her website. You can purchase, as she mentioned, on her website. You can also go to these brands, go into the stores and look for these brands. The other thing that I'm also going to do, that I am challenging us all, if the brand doesn't exist, call the manager, let the manager be aware that it is out, because sometimes they're not aware. Go to Twitter, send an email. I was recently in there. I love this product. Can you tell me when it'll be it? We also have to do our due diligence and require that. A review does not have to be bad. A review can be an observation and allow for them to be able to get that support. The other thing I want you all to say is, as Marissa shared, if you work in a retail space, think of her as a partner, as a collaborator with the if you are serious about blending black businesses into your stores and creating that ecosystem, here's a partner. We said, well, we don't know who to call. You all know that's what Black Businesses Matter does. We are the bridge for collaboration and equity. And so we're here. So we just want to thank you, Marissa, for being such an outstanding guest today on our 50th episode. I want to give you a hug, so I'm going to give you a virtual hug. And say thank you.
Thank you for having me
so much. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge and your passion. And so, guys, I'm just going to say this. Thank you for listening to another episode of Black Businesses Matter. See you all next week.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us this week on Black Businesses Matter podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen so you will never miss a show. You can also follow us on social media at the L3 Agency and at Larvetta Speaks. If you love the show, leave a rating so that we can continue to bring you impactful episodes. You can also take the pledge and order our merch at our website at thell3agency.com. THEL3agency.com. Thanks for listening and see you next week.